All right, we are live. Hey everybody, welcome to the Dan Bullman Photography Podcast. Tonight I'm doing another live stream interview and I have an additional Dan on the show. So we've got Dan and Dan talking about film cameras and photography. So my guest tonight is Dan Dao. And Dan, why don't you give a little introduction to yourself for the listeners who are watching in tonight?
So I run the video channel or YouTube channel, Shawnee Union, and I've been doing it since like 2010. I'm from Austin, Texas. I've been shooting film probably since pretty seriously, like last couple of years, probably 3 or 4 years pretty seriously.
Cool. So what made you get involved in film photography? Like we've got all this like fancy technology today, digital cameras are doing like amazing things. So what's the appeal for still getting out there and shooting film?
Yeah, so I was like, I think in college I had like a Nikon D40 and I was really into it, but it was like you could like shoot all day. So it wasn't like important and you could like spray and pray. And I don't know. And then I kind of moved to the Midwest and I was going to a lot of thrift stores at the time. So I was picking up these old cameras and I had a bunch, didn't shoot them. And then I started shooting with it and it like totally changed how I thought about like taking pictures. Like you could take like these pictures in a slower way and it was like physical. It wasn't like shooting on a digital where you just like load it into iPhoto and look at it and upload it to Facebook. It was like totally different. So I like kind of really liked cameras and I really got into like the film photography side of it. So that's how I got into it. And it was, but I originally started out doing a lot of digital. But I don't know, I was born in like mid 80s. So like I was actually shooting like film when that's all you could shoot. And then you had digital and then I went back to film. So
Yeah, I had a very similar process. Like I was born in 89 and like when I was real young, my family would shoot like a lot of disposable cameras and stuff. Like my dad had a 35mm SLR, but he didn't shoot with it for some reason, like after I was born. And I actually didn't even know he had it until like a year or two ago. He's like, oh yeah, I have this old film camera if you want to like shoot that and try it, because I was starting to get into film again.
Yeah.
But when I was like in middle school, like we got one of those Sony digital cameras that had like the floppy disk for the memory. And yeah, it took like 600 by 400 pixel photos and you could take like 12 of them on a floppy disk.
It's so insane.
Yeah. And it had video mode too, and shoot these like tiny like 10-second video clips. And, like I still have some of that stuff, those photos and footage like backed up on an external hard drive. But yeah, like I didn't get back in film until like maybe 2 years ago. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. So I found you through YouTube. I think one of the first videos I saw of you was like a video you did on the Canon AE1. I watched a lot of your content, and one of the things I've liked about your channel is that you break down concepts for people who are just getting into it. So people who know nothing about film, you can sort of give them an overview. Like you did the videos on fixing or like what to look for when you find like a camera or you get a camera from a relative, like how to figure out if something's broken or something. So what, I guess, inspired you to start a YouTube channel and start a YouTube channel about film photography?
That's a really good question. And it's gonna be I'm gonna maybe diss David Hancock but not diss him, because when I started it was like me and David Hancock and this other guy I think were doing these videos and they were so long. They were like, David does like 20-30 minute videos. They're great for someone who like wants everything, but I was like, I cannot. It's like it's so long and it's so thorough. I just want to do a shorter version of that. And then I just kind of like was like, okay, I have these cameras and people don't know how to use them. And so I was like, okay, I'll show people how to use them and go through it. So it sounds crazy, but I would buy a bunch of cameras. Some of them times they were broken. Sometimes they didn't work at all. And I would just go over like, this is how you use it. This is how it kind of works. And you realize like pretty quickly, like there's kids now who like, I still get this question all the time. It's like, can this camera handle like color or black and white film? Like people are really like surprised, like,
you could do that.
They have no point of like reference, like these cameras like take different color films. And I'm like, So I thought it was just really cool that, you know, I could show people that, but mainly the inspiration was I just wanted to make stuff that I would want to watch. So like when you're getting into pinholes, like pinhole photography, you're getting into like shift lenses. I was like, okay, how could I like explain it to myself and to people who have like no idea? Because there are people out there who don't like if I want to learn something now, I'll go to YouTube and type in like, how do I do this, or how do I get something done? And I'll like watch a YouTube video, and that's like, I think that's the new generation. So you kind of need people, like, it seems silly, but if you made a video on like, can this camera handle color film or black and white film, like people would really watch it, because that's a question people really have. So I don't know. Do you get that too when you do your stuff? Do you get like crazy questions? Like you're like, oh man, I can't believe that's a question, or I can't believe someone would really ask that.
Someone left a comment on one of my Polaroid videos the other day. It was like, how do you take a picture? And I was like, I don't know what the real question there is. So I'm like, still, I don't think I've responded to that person yet. I'm like, I don't. Because like, what do you say? Just press the shutter button on the front. Like, I feel like there's something else going on. But yeah, I get those questions. Like, I've got like a lot of people who've been like, can I use black and white or color film? And I'm like, yeah, like you can buy whatever, 35 millimeter film and all of it works. But people just don't have that reference point. I was explaining to somebody like how when you're shooting a roll of film, like you have to basically pick your ISO and then run with it. And they couldn't believe that was a thing, that you like couldn't change your ISO like mid-roll or try to shoot different.
Yeah, and that's such a crazy thing that's like new. Like when you shoot digital and you're changing your ISO and then you go back to shooting film, it's like mind-boggling, like the extra like steps, and like it's a pain, because if you're shooting like at 400, you can't just like jump to 800, you can't go down to 100. You're just stuck with that thing for that time. But yeah, I don't know, it's kind of weird. There's like these people like rejecting digital and they want to get into film. So there's this huge market for like people doing film stuff, and it's all, it's people who didn't grow up on film really. Like I grew up on film, but not like, I wasn't shooting seriously or anything on film until like recently. So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So what's the sort of breakdown of your audience? Because like I feel like my audience has like, I've got the older folks who are just like, they hate digital. They're like lamenting the past and like what, back in my day, like we had to do this and blah, blah, blah. And we only had this type of black and white film. And then like I've got people who are like more along my age who they shoot film and digital like I do. And like both of them. And then there's other folks who are around my age who are like just getting into film for the first time, or they're curious. Like what's the kind of people that you see leaving comments on your videos?
It's, that's a great question. And it's weird. It's like, I think it's like 80% dudes. Because I looked at that stat, like, that YouTube stat. It's like a lot of dudes.
Mine's like 91.
It's insane. It's a lot of dudes, and I think it's people around my age. And then there's a lot of like young kids coming up who are like getting into film. I think a couple of years ago, people would have said they're hipsters, or they would have said like they're kind of like doing it for like. I think my friend said like one time to me, like, you're doing it for fashion reasons. I'm like, oh, no, I'm not.
You're one of those lomography types.
Yeah, I don't. Well, the lomography thing's like weird. I think they're doing good stuff, but that's like a whole thing of itself. Like, I don't know, I don't want to piss off any lomography folks. Yeah, it's a lot of guys, and it's a lot of, but there are like, there's women who are like interested in too, but I get a good mix. There's some older people who like the camera stuff, and you like kind of like people bringing up stuff that they used to use. And then there's like this young crowd who like kind of likes, are getting into it, and they want to know what the gear is. And then I think that's it. I think that I would say that it's a pretty good mix, but mostly I would say like people like mid-30s and up, and a lot of guys. But I don't know. Was the same with yours, you think?
Yeah, it's like there's a spectrum, and some of the older folks are respectful, but some of them are just like, oh, you damn millennials. So lately, I've been like really embracing like more hardcore the millennial thing. Like, yeah, I'm millennial and I'm shooting film and I'm making YouTube videos. Like, you're just leaving shitty comments on my channel. Like,
Yeah, the shitty comments thing is like the I don't know. It's someone told me a long time ago, and I went to like a YouTube day and we talked about it, but like everyone said like if someone leaves a shitty comment and you go look at their channel, there's like nothing. And then if someone leaves a shitty comment on photography too, it's like the same stuff. It's like this guy just wants to be an asshole. But
yeah,
it's usually a dude. You know, I don't know
exactly.
if it's like women running around leaving crappy comments on videos, but
yeah. I remember the first like really nasty one I got. The guy's YouTube name was Homer Simpson and his avatar was Homer Simpson. So I was like, it was just very confusing.
Did he have like was it a real account or was it like a fake account?
I think it was a real account, but it was like on YouTube you can, I don't know if you can do this anymore, but like back in the day you could just make up whatever username and not have like a real name or avatar or whatever. So that was hilarious.
You know what? I can't explain this either. I don't know how people have no videos and subscribers. That's like the one that boggles my mind. Like, how do you have like 5 subscribers? Because you see it every once in a while. Like people have like 5 subscribers or whatever, and they have like no videos or nothing. I don't know what people.
Yeah, I do to subscribe. Yeah, like, maybe I'll check back. Maybe this guy will make videos at some point.
Yeah, like he has a really cool name, man. I'm subscribe.
So funny. So tell me a bit about your channel name, because I didn't know the background to how you named it, or what is Shawnee Union?
I got caught with this because I think it's too late and maybe I should change it, but I was like, I don't know, a couple of years ago, like workwear was really in, like workwear and like union stuff. So I lived in Shawnee County, which was like a county in Kansas, and then Shawnee is also an Indian tribe, and then I was like Union, because there's a lot of like unions, like there was like Boundary and Union, so I put the 2 together, like Shawnee Union, and then I was like, I'll just use it, and I had a bunch of stuff. I like my eBay accounts under the same thing, so it kind of stuck, and like now I wish I because you did it. I think you did it the right way. You'd say like Dan Bullman, but I still work for the government, so I was like, I don't want my name out there like that. But it doesn't matter now because there's like a bunch of Dan Daos. Like, literally, there's another Dan Dao who does like YouTube and who does like media, and he's in like Houston, and then he was in New York, and we were like, it was like the biggest issue because it was like, man, like every time I'd search for him, it'd come up, and it was a big thing. But yeah, it kind of stuck, and I was like, oh, now it kind of stuck. So I don't know because I think everyone now has their name. Like there's like Eduardo has his name, you have your name, Eric Wallstrom, Ben Horn, Alan Brock. I think is that right?
Yeah.
So we all have the names, and I have like this like random channel like Shawnee Union. It doesn't make any sense, but I don't know. Maybe I think it's too late to change it. So that's how.
I think you've gone too far, man. There's no going back. I actually thought that was your name at first. I was like, oh, his name's Shawnee Union. That's an interesting name.
You know what? The worst part is people think my name's Sean too, and I'm like, no, I'm Dan.
Yeah, I thought it was like Sean, your middle initials E Union, but you just couldn't like put it into 3 names or something.
That's a tip if you're gonna start like a YouTube channel. Like, serious about the name. Don't pick like a silly name because it'll stick with you forever. Yeah, I don't know. It helps out. I would change it if I could go back, but I think I'm okay with it.
Yeah, now you can. Now it's like that's your thing, man. You can just roll with it.
Yeah, I'll just roll with it.
Alrighty. So let's see. Let's get into the camera talk. So what's one of your favorite cameras that you used so far, and what makes it one of your favorites?
I picked it up right here, but I recently got it like a M4 II. I know it's cheesy to say like I like it, but it really is a good camera, and I got a good deal on it. But it is really just like a really good machine, and it's it works well. You can get some pretty crazy lenses for it. But I guess my personal favorite, like in terms of like not cost or like the one that I wouldn't ever sell, because if they came to it, I would sell this one because I don't have any personal attachment. But the Canon P, I was like I was in Japan and I was with my brother and we had gotten this big fight. We were there for like 10 days. So this is like, I'll give the backstory. We were there for 10 days and we were literally like, me and my cousin and my brother were like just hanging out the whole time, and we were going nuts because you just can't hang out with people that long. Like in close quarters, you can like, you'll go insane, right? So we had like a big fight. And then the next day I'm like, I don't want to see you guys. Like, I'm gonna leave at 7 a.m. and I'll meet you at the hotel like at midnight. and then that day I'm in Kyoto, right? And then I go to like this basement, the sketchiest basement of like this place, and they have like, in Japan, like everything's new. So like you go to this basement and you buy this camera. I bought like a camera to use camera shop, and then for like $20, and then it was kind of like it was a good story, and then it actually was like now it's like one of my favorite cameras, but that's probably my favorite just for personal reasons. But do you have stories like that where you get a camera like
yeah, like I would say I have 2 cameras that I know I will never sell. Not even because they're the best cameras, but because I have the story with it. So like one is my Canon FTB. I think I've talked about this a little bit before on the channel, but my dad bought that camera at a pawn shop in the early 80s when he was in the Coast Guard. So he bought it at a pawn shop in like somewhere near Seattle, Washington. And then that camera came with him back to Pennsylvania, where I'm from. So he had done like a cross country like road trip on a motorcycle. So that camera like came with him on that. And then he gave it to me a couple of years ago. And that was like the first fully manual film camera I had ever used, and totally learned how to do film photography on. So like that's definitely one of the ones I'll never get rid of. And then the other one is the Olympus OM1.
Yeah.
And I love shooting with that camera because it's a workhorse. It's also super light, you know, compared to other of the cameras. Like it's way lighter than my FTB or my Nikon F3, which are like 2 of my favorite cameras. And so I decided I had a trip to South Korea last year, and I was like, I'm going to take one film camera, and I want it to be like compact. It's something that I can like easily lug around. And so I took that camera with me, and now I've kind of decided that like anytime I go on an international trip, like I'm going to take that camera with me. So that's probably the other one that I wouldn't get rid of. In terms of like, what's up?
Oh, sorry, finish.
I was going to say, like, in terms of like my favorite camera that I probably wouldn't get rid of just on like the quality of the images or like the shooting experience is probably my Mamiya RZ67.
Yeah.
I don't like shooting with that in every situation because it's just such a massive camera. So like I just don't want to bring it around all the time. But like that thing, it's just an experience shooting with that camera. It's such a beast.
Yeah. So when you're in Korea, do you develop there, or do you bring back all your rolls?
I brought it all back. I was like, screw it. I'm putting it through the scanners. Like I'm rolling the dice on that one. Yeah, I figured it was like, you know, it was my first like major international trip in a long time, and I was shooting digital too. I shot mostly digital while I was there because I just was able to like swap lenses for different situations. So I figured like, I think I shot like 4 rolls of film when I was there. And I was like, if I lose the images due to like the scanner or something, I'll have a story. I can make a video on that. Yeah. And if not, I'll have the photos. So, yeah, I mean, it didn't seem to affect them at all. Like I've developed all the rolls when I got back, and they all came out well. So I wasn't too worried about it.
Yeah. And I have a cool story about the OM1. I was working with this guy. I don't know if this is a weird channel, but like, there was a guy in Kansas. I was working there. He was he repaired my cameras, and I was like, you should do a YouTube channel on fixing cameras, and then it's fixed old cameras. You guys can check it out. But he like repairs like hundreds and hundreds of cameras. And I asked him, what camera do you own personally? And he said OM1. He said he really liked it. It's like one of the best cameras and the Zuiko glass is like insanely sharp. So
Yeah.
That camera is like, it's crazy, and it's I don't know if it's underrated or overrated, but it's an amazing camera.
Yeah, it's like it could go either way because like it's not the best. It doesn't have the best like feature set or anything, and it's a little. One of the things I find very interesting about that camera is that the aperture and not the aperture, but the shutter speed is on the front of the camera body. So it's like when you mount the lens on, you can adjust the shutter speed and the aperture like very close together. Like the dial on the top of the camera, that where the shutter speed usually is on a 35mm camera, is the ISO dial.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was a very interesting design. It's very different from any other camera I've shot in terms of like they decided to place a ring on the front of the camera body for the shutter speed. So it's different. It's actually kind of like it took a little while to get used to because I'm like, oh wait, I was like adjusting the thing on the top. I'm like, wait, that's ISO. But you know, like when you get used to it, it's like I don't know. But yeah, it's funny too because like I kind of like I wish I knew the backstory to my camera because I bought it on eBay, but it's like beat to hell. Like the self timer thing is like snapped off, and there's just like a hole where the self timing like winder used to be, and it looks like it's been through hell. And I'm just like, man, I wonder where this camera's been. Like.
That's the weird thing about old cameras. You get them and they're like, what did someone do to this? But yeah, I don't know. Do you buy mostly eBay or do you go to like garage sales and stuff?
I've tried doing garage sales and thrift stores and stuff, and I've had like absolutely zero success in terms of like finding anything interesting. So I just buy on eBay all the time. I mean, like I live in Boston, and a lot of the thrift stores, like when I go there, I can't even find cameras, like much less like a decent film camera. Like occasionally I'll see like a crappy, you know, off-brand brand I've never heard of, like point and shoot from like the 90s or something that's like a piece of crap for like, and they'll want like $15 for it or something, and I'm like, this probably sells on eBay for $3, you know. But yeah, so I've just been buying on eBay, and KEH is another site I like to use because KEH is a little better for me because I've bought some stuff on eBay that's then had problems that weren't really clearly laid out in the description and the photos. And so I've had issues with that. But if I'm buying from KEH, they have like a money back guarantee and stuff. And so like if there's any problem, and they like handle all the sales directly. So like if people sell through KEH, they send the gear to KEH. So KEH does the fulfillment and stuff. So you pretty much know when you buy off there that it's going to be good quality, but for a better price on eBay. So I look at both. And sometimes KEH doesn't have what I'm looking for. So eBay seems to have a pretty good selection.
Yeah. I use KH, use Photo Pro, and use Photo Pro is like my secret for not a lot of people. And then Adorama has like stupid deals too. Adorama, when you get a good deal there, it's like it's insane. They'll throw stuff out. But the weird thing is, because we talked about it before, but I lived in Boston too. There's not a lot of good camera stores in Boston. It's like a weird thing. I don't know if it's or for film photography, there's like for like a digital, but not a lot of like film photography stores for some reason.
I know, yeah. There's like one store that I've gone to a couple of times, and like all their prices they're kind of in like a tourist area. They're near like downtown Crossing, and so I think they sell a lot of stuff to like tourists and people who are just sort of like walking through because it's kind of a high traffic area.
Yeah.
But their camera, like they have film cameras, and they're all like probably 30 to 50% over market price on everything.
Yeah.
I remember I was shopping for a Nikon F3, and I went there, and they wanted like $319 body only, and I bought mine on eBay for like I think $180 or $200 with a lens. And like so I was like, I saved like $130 and I got a lens.
Wow. The F3 is like a Japan camera hunter's favorite camera, right? Am I right on that
Oh
one?
wow! I think he said it's one of his favorites. Yeah, it's I love it. It's a great camera. I'm not a huge Nikon guy, which is kind of funny because I have tons of videos on Nikon cameras on my channel. But part of the reason for that is that I've been trying to find like a Nikon camera that I wanted to keep. So I've like bought cameras and then I make a review on them and then I sell them. And then I have a buddy of mine. He's like super into Nikon gear, so he's got a couple of different Nikon cameras. So like we've done a couple of videos together. But yeah, I like the F3. That's my favorite Nikon camera that I've used so far.
Yeah, I think I've seen it in person, but I never handled it in person. Because it looks new, but then it's like I've heard it's just like it was like a real pro camera, like.
Yeah, it's sleek. And somebody lent me the Nikon F4, which is like, you can tell that's where like the DSLR design came from, because it's like twice the size, it's like huge and bulky, it's got all these like automatic controls and like autofocus and all this stuff. And like when I picked that thing up, I'm like, I don't even know how to use this. I had to like go to YouTube and start looking up videos. And then I found, going back to David Hancock, I found one of his videos. He had like a 2-part breakdown of everything on the Nikon F4, and like it was like 45 minutes in total. And I was like, dude, I just need like a 5-minute video. Like I'm going to a meetup. Like I got to shoot this thing like today.
You know what? Like I was in San Francisco and hung out with David. Like it's a good strategy, because I know like some people think shorter, but like you really do get more, like the longer someone watches a video, the better for your channel. I think in the YouTube analytics thing.
Yeah,
like,
it's true.
The long videos and people watch it and it's like crazy, but
yeah.
Some people, yeah, I guess you're right. That was the same thing out in my opinion. But David, but the people who watch his stuff like love his stuff, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's funny. It was like Ted Forbes said the same thing. Like he like a lot of his early. I think now he's like scaled them back a bit. But like if you watch the stuff he was making in his like when he was making all stuff about film photography, like some of his videos are like 20, 25 minutes. It's like almost everyone he was putting out like 3-4 years ago were like 25-minute videos. And when I found his channel, I'd like watch the whole thing. I was like, this is fascinating. So like if you get a diehard fan, like they'll watch the whole thing.
Yeah, it's like who does that?
And
yeah. I think Alan Brock, I watch his stuff and it's always like 10, 15 minutes. But it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Or like Casey Neistat does that too. He does like 10, 15 minutes and it's like, it's good to watch though. You'll go through it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it works for some people. I don't think there's a formula for it.
I would suck at it. I would be so terrible at it.
Yeah. I know, it's funny, like, because we're talking about YouTube analytics, like, you can see, like, even the watch time drop off on, like, specific videos. And this is, like, probably 6 months ago, but I made a video on the RZ67 where I did, like, a full-on, like, breakdown everything on the camera. It's, like, 25 minutes long. 75% drop off in the first, like, minute.
Oh.
But then the people who hung on for, like, 1 minute watch the whole thing. Most of them watch the whole thing. So it's like, and then people like comment. People leave a comment on the channel like, "Man, I want to see you do more videos like this." I'm like, I don't think I could do it. Like, this isn't sustainable. I can't make 25-minute videos every week. Like,
all the editing. People don't know how much editing time goes into it. Like, you can shoot a video in 2 hours. It takes like another like hour and a half to edit that thing.
Yeah, it's that. Like, like the video I just did on disposable cameras.
Yeah.
So that was like 2 hours of shooting. I had 2 people doing video stuff, so I had to like call through both of their like footage after they sent it to me.
Yeah.
It took me, I think, like end to end, like editing time, like from watching and taking notes on the videos and putting it together. It was like 8 hours of editing.
Holy smokes, man.
To put that video together.
Yeah.
And people are like, man, this is great. I want to see more stuff like this. I'm like, this is like the most labor-intensive stuff on my channel.
You know what? I think you realize it too. Like when you watch like old DR TV with like Kai and Locke, like they must have spent so much damn time editing and doing stuff, because it must be so. They had like one camera guy, but man, you look at their channel and they're like multiple locations. They just put so much into it. So it's like,
Yeah,
the stuff
and
you're
it
doing.
shows like it. I think that's part of the reason they were so successful for that was they were able to build, like DRTV was able to build a team that was able to dedicate that time to edit and really like do the extra legwork to like take the content to the next level.
Yeah.
And it blew up the channel, but then they based their whole channel on personalities, and the personalities are like, well, I can just go do this myself.
I don't know if you feel about it, but I think they're weaker apart. Like I don't know. I think Kai stuff's now is like different. It's like I think it was better with the check when Locke was there, but I don't know. That's my opinion, but I like them. I like them more. I think they're better together.
Yeah, we'll see. I think they're trying to find their footing and stuff. But yeah, it's kind of sad. Like that was one of my favorite YouTube channels to watch because I always got a laugh out of it. Like I would learn something. Like I'm not a huge like gear review type guy to want to, but I would always watch their videos because I just it was always so funny.
Yeah.
And so when it all just sort of collapsed, it was like kind of sad. But I don't know.
It was like the end of an era. It was like, oh man, it's over. And I felt so bad for those new guys because I was like, these guys have no chance because this is impossible. But
yeah, I know there was like a period where they like didn't upload any videos, and then they uploaded one on their they have a second channel called Boca that was initially like, I think it was initially like their blooper reel kind of stuff, but then they did some other they did a lot of drone stuff on that channel. And I remember they uploaded a video with Warren, and Warren's funny in the videos and stuff, but you could just see he had the weight of the world on him in that video because it was like, oh man, I gotta perform. I think they uploaded that video and they did one more analog rev, and then I think those guys left. And so it's it's just oh man, it was funny because I've been thinking about the strategy for my YouTube channel and how I want to grow it and stuff, and I was thinking about what if I bring in more people and I have some more personalities on here, but then I was yeah, Digital Rev did it so successfully, but the danger was they built their whole thing on having these personalities, and so when the personalities left, it's well, the channel's dead, guess we're not doing this anymore.
100% right. That was when, because it was even awkward when they broke up, when Kai was in Europe and England, and then Locke was over there. It was still tension about that. It was kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
It's sad. It's sad. I know. I was upset. I was upset too. I was I can't believe it's over. It's really over.
Yeah. It's the single tear comes down. Oh man. So let's see. So we talked about your favorite camera. So do you have any cameras that you hate? Any film cameras that you're just I hate this camera?
I said it. There was a Twitter question about it, but the Canon, some people really like it, but I just don't like it. Canon AE1 is a really finicky camera, not so great at anything, but is really popular. I think because it's it was so popular and they had that cool Olympics version. People really like it, but I'm not too hot on the AE1 for some reason. I think it's overrated, but what's yours? What do you think yours is?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never shot the original AE1. I have the AE1 program, and I actually love it. But man, I could see, I could see why someone wouldn't love it. Yeah, the one thing that's the ISO dial on the AE1s? You have to lift that ring and twist it, and it's just super awkward and terrible design.
And it's shutter priority. I don't get why it's shutter priority. I don't know. Why you would care to keep your shutter speed at 400 or something. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know why that happened.
Yeah, I remember watching a video on that, and I don't know if this is true, but it was a retro camera review. I don't know if you've ever seen that guy's videos. I don't think he's uploaded a YouTube video in 2 years, but he did a video on the AE1 versus the AE1 program, and he said in the video that Canon's engineers, they hadn't figured out, they hadn't quite nailed aperture priority yet. but they had to like release the camera. So they were like, well, we'll just do shutter priority because we got that nailed with the engineering, but we haven't like tested aperture priority yet with the metering or whatever. So they just couldn't implement it in time, I guess.
Yo,
But I don't know.
retro camera review was really good. I was surprised he like quit.
Yeah. And then he actually uploaded a video in like January. He's like, "Hey guys, I'm back. I'm gonna be making videos." And then there hasn't been a single video since then. So
yeah. Well,
yeah, he was.
That's a question.
He was another one of those. What's up?
Sorry, there's a question I have. Did you ever think about quitting?
I think probably when I was like 6 months in, five or 6 months in, like last year, I was like, man, nobody's watching these videos. I had like 70 subscribers maybe at the time. And I was like, you know, I'm putting a lot of work into this. Like I didn't have like an overarching vision for the channel or anything at the time. And it started getting to be like summertime, and like I started the channel in like winter. So it was like, it made sense to like winter in Boston to like sit at home and make YouTube videos. But yeah, I don't know. Like I got to that point and I was like, wasn't sure if I was going to keep uploading stuff, but then I don't know, I got like a second wind. I kept putting videos up. The channel got a little bit more traction, and then I don't know, it's just become part of my routine now to like put together a YouTube video every week. And especially since now like more people are watching them and commenting and giving me positive feedback and stuff, like I just don't know what else I would do. So I like at this point I don't think about quitting. Like sometimes I'm like, okay, I'll slow the pace down a bit. Like there was a point where I was uploading like 2 or 3 videos a week. Now I'm doing like basically like maybe 1 video and a live stream or something like that. So like the pace ebbs and flows, but I've never, like probably since that first time where I was like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna do this anymore. Like I haven't really thought about it since then.
Yeah.
How about you?
I've thought of that a couple times. And the same reason. It's like, is anyone watching this, or like, where is this going? And then you do get a second. I think last year I took like a 6-month break, and then I got back into it and it was fine. I was like, man, I just need a break. But yeah, it's kind of you're right. Once it becomes routine, it's really easy to do. And then, but I think people have, you have doubts, and you're always like, man, should I be doing this? Should I be doing this? And then
it's tough too, because like YouTube growth is really slow. Like sometimes you'll get like a spurt, like a video, like you'll release a video and like maybe that one gets more views than you typically get or something, and people are commenting and subscribing, and then you like, man, this is great. And you upload another video and you get like 400 views, and you're like, put a lot of work into that to get 400 views, man.
Yeah, it's like I wasted my Saturday night doing that.
Yeah. Like the disposable cameras video, which is one of my favorites, just because it's like, it was so fun to put together. I think it's at like 750 views. So it's like not even 100 views per hour. I like edited that video.
Yeah, I thought it was a great video too. I was like, I think it's a great video, but I don't know. I don't get. I try to figure out why I watch videos too, and it doesn't always make sense either. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's not clear. Like a lot of the videos that kind of did better or doing better for me on the channel are not the ones that I would think. And then the ones I'm like, man, this video is gonna like pop, like a bunch of people are gonna watch it, then like nobody watches it, and then like I half-ass a video and churn it out, and then it gets like 15,000 views, and I'm like, man, I like didn't even put any work into that one.
Yeah, I threw it away. Yeah.
So funny. So okay, let's talk about Twitter, because I have to thank you for introducing me to the film community in Twitter. You made a video about it. Like I have always been very half-assed about Twitter. Like I never really put a lot of effort into it. I think initially I signed up for Twitter because like a lot of people in my job use Twitter, so it was like, oh, this is like a networking thing.
Yeah.
And then like I found some photographers and stuff, but I never really got Twitter. But then I like got tapped into the film community there, and there's like some really cool conversations and fun stuff that's going on Twitter that I just was totally oblivious to for like 2 years basically. So how did you get like how did you get into the film photography community on Twitter, and like what is it that you like about that platform?
Yeah, I got into it. There was a fan of my channel, and his name was like PJ De Jesus, and he was really into
I think
it.
he's watching right now. He left a comment. I'm pretty sure he's watching.
Yeah, he was really into it, and I was like, "What is going on out here?" And then I was like, I had a Twitter account. I was like everyone. I think I was like you. I like had a Twitter account and didn't do anything for like years, and then or at least that's what I did. I didn't check it for years, and then I went on, and it was like genuinely like really nice people, like complimenting each other, like trying to build a community. Everyone was supporting each other. They had like really good questions. There was like no dicks. It was the best.
Yeah.
There was no like people going like, well, that's a stupid idea, or that's like, or you're a shitty photographer, or, you know, like that gear sucks. I can't believe like you're using gear like that. Like on like Flickr and other stuff, like you get a lot of that. Or I think it's not totally on Flickr, but you get a lot of that, and like video, like, you know, video comments, and you get a lot of that on like Reddit and stuff. And I was like, this is just a really cool place. And then they had like stuff where they were like making it real too. Like people would send people film, and then people would do like, people would send people film, people would hang out. And so I thought it was just awesome. And I was like, this is a really cool place. And then you get in there, and it takes a little bit of time to like figure out what Twitter is. And I think I get it now, because it's different. It's not like Facebook where you're like emotional. You're giving stuff about your life. And it's not like Instagram where it's like pictures of stuff. It's just like kind of like a hangout. I don't know if that's the best way to put it. I don't know how you would put it, but it's like people like nerding out a little bit.
Yeah. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. Like I still like, sometimes I'll see, because you'll see like a tweet and it's part of a conversation thread, but sometimes they don't show you the whole thread, and I'm just like, how do I see the rest of the thread? And like, so I get confused by Twitter sometimes. Like I haven't totally wrapped my head around it, but yeah, it's really cool. Like I think it's there, like you said, like there's actually like real community on there. Like you have to kind of find the individual people who are in it. Like there's no, like, you know, Facebook has groups, and, you know, YouTube has a couple of channels that are putting out content that you can sort of like find people through. But Twitter doesn't really have that kind of stuff, but there's still like a community on the platform of people who are like tweeting at each other or setting up like, you know, Q&A sessions and stuff like that. And I found that stuff's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, people are just like, I don't know, it's weird on the internet to say like there's like a really good clean place to like talk about photography and stuff, but like that's it. Like I think like of all the stuff that I've seen, because I try to stay off like those message boards and stuff like that too, because it gets kind of, you know, it gets kind of hairy or whatever. But it's pretty awesome. And people there are like funny, and they're like original too, so I think it's great.
Yeah, I dig it. It's funny. One of the pages that I kind of regretfully follow is the film photographers Facebook group, which sometimes can be good, but it's like almost anything I post in there, someone is going to leave like a shitty or snarky comment, like guaranteed. And it's just like, and like even the guy who runs the group, every once in a while he'll update the stuff. He'll be like, please be nice to each other in here. Like, this is supposed to be a community.
Yeah, I don't know. I just lay off the Facebook now a lot, because I don't get it. I don't get the point.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, Twitter is awesome. I think if you want to get into it, and there's like Believe in Film, there's Impulsive Film, there's so much. They're like the two really big people, I think, and they kind of just like have this insane community. And there's this guy named Gordon, and then there's Gordon's with Believe in Film, and Gordon. But the weird part is some people like hashtag Believe in Film, and they don't think it's a community. They think it's just like a cool thing to say. Like I was one of those people, and then I was like, oh, it's a real like community. It's a real thing.
Yeah. I was in the same boat. I was just like, yeah, believe in film. Like I believe in film, and then I was like, oh shit, there's actually like there's another layer there.
Yeah. I used to do it on my videos as like as like a tag or something. I was like, oh yeah, this will get more views.
Yeah.
I don't know who Gordon is, but that Gordon guy is like the most interesting man on the planet.
Yeah. Yeah, he seems like a character.
He seems like a character. He's never put up a picture of himself either.
Yeah, he's got that like, yeah, I don't think his like profile pic is a picture of himself. But that's funny. Yeah, I like Twitter. So who are some of the accounts that you would look into following if you're like just getting into Twitter and you wanted to find some people to like follow or start talking to? Who are some of the people you would look for?
I think like PJ DeJesus is a connector, so I think he's at PJ DeJesus. At Film Develop is Gordon, who runs hashtag Believe in Film. I think he has Believe in Film too. And then at Emulsive, and then like I think it's near you, but Old School Photo Lab in New Hampshire. They're like huge. I've never used them. I need to use them one day, but I saw that article on I think it was Emulsive, but they talked about Old School Photo Lab being like a real photo lab in New Hampshire.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, some of the other people that I have like followed is Kristen with a camera.
Oh
She
yeah,
posts a lot of film stuff. I can't remember her handle, but her name is like CHI. She posts a lot of like
yeah,
gorgeous like still life and flower photography, like all film.
yeah.
And yeah, so there's some cool people on Twitter. So if you're not on Twitter but you're interested in film, like make an account, check it out, try to connect with some of those people. Like you can actually have some pretty cool conversations on there.
Yeah, totally. How do you wait? There's a question. How do you like Instagram? Do you think it's?
Dude, well, as a photography community, not necessarily just for film, but like I love Instagram. Like I've been using it a lot. It's a double-edged sword. I talked a little bit about this before with Frederick Van Johnson on the interview I did with him. But one of the things that I don't like about Instagram is how much people focus on like the follower count, the numbers, almost as like a social proof kind of thing. So like up to the point where I'll go to a photo meetup in Boston, and one of the first things you do, you're talking to someone like, hey, what do you do? Like, you know, what kind of things you like to take photos of? Oh, are you on Instagram? And then like you'll see someone like pull up your Instagram account and like kind of size you up in that first like 5-10 seconds. They're looking at your account like, okay, you've only got, you know, X number of followers, and like, oh, you take portraits or whatever. So like that kind of thing has been a little weird to me. But at the same time, like I've also been able to meet a lot of people in my local area through Instagram. Like people will send me a DM, or like I'll send them a DM or something. And like I've been able to like actually meet up with people and shoot photos and do that kind of things. And then there's some accounts at least in my city. If you live in a city, there's probably some communities that run meetups or something. But there's a couple here in Boston. There's one that does specifically like portrait events. Oh, yeah. It's called Portrait Meet. And then there's IGers Boston, Instagrammers Boston, and Following Boston. Both of those groups put on like live events. You can actually like, you know, meet some of the people that you've like connected with on Instagram. So I like it. But yeah, it can be kind of a double-edged sword. There was like a weird period too where there were a lot of people who were using those like bots to automatically comment and like and follow and stuff like that. And like I'd post a photo and then a third of the comments were just like, great shot, or just like a string of emojis and like and it's like you could just tell it's just a fake.
Those are the weirdest ones too. Those are like the weirdest.
Yeah. And then Instagram shut down one of those major services, and I saw my like likes and comments like drop by like 25% or something like that. But I wasn't getting any of those like fake comments anymore. So I think a lot of people were using that service. It's called Instagress. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think about Instagram? Do you like it? Do you not like it?
I think the same thing. I think it's like it's pretty motivating too to see people who are like doing really cool stuff, and it's like so simple because it's not like it's almost like non-social media, or it's not like a real social network. You just put pictures up and it's, you know, you don't have to do anything personal. So I think it's pretty cool. And then that's a good idea to look up into like meetups and stuff like that. I haven't done it in Austin, but there's probably some Austin Instagram stuff that I'm not like aware of.
I want to get plugged into it, but there's usually stuff like that in a lot of the major cities. So I would imagine that there's something in Austin, and if there's not, you could be like Austin Portrait Meet and start something up.
That's true. I could do it.
Yeah. So what kind of, I mean, I've seen some of the photos that you share on Instagram, but like, what is like the subject matter, or like the style of photography? Like, what are some of the things you like to shoot? You like landscapes, cityscapes, street photography, portraits? Like, what do you like to shoot?
Yeah, so I still think I'm trying to figure it out, but I think I'm doing a documentary project where I go to tattoo shops and take pictures there. And then on like my Instagram, I was just like, I don't know, this is like a theory, but I was trying to like narrow it down a little bit. So like you follow me, I'm doing a bunch of murals lately because there's a bunch of murals in Austin. But it's like, it makes it easier. It makes it easier when you just pick one thing. So that's like when you were bringing up that girl on Twitter, Chi. Like all she shoots is flowers with expired film and like crazy Russian lenses. And you like really like, I bet if I walked in like a room and I saw her picture on the wall, I'd be like, that's a picture of like from Chi, because it's so recognizable. And like you do portraits, it's like really recognizable. And like Matt Day does like black and white portraits as well. Like, so it's like I was like trying to like narrow it down. But I think if I had like the funnest things to shoot, I really do like a little bit of street and documentary more. And then I did portraits in the day, but I haven't got back. Like I need to get back into it because it really is like that one you can like, I think you can lose a little bit because you don't get comfortable like telling people how to look, or, you know, that's a tough one.
That's the biggest barrier, I think, for a lot of people trying to get into like portrait photography, is just like, because most people are not very comfortable having their photo taken. So you kind of have to figure out how you can kind of break through that barrier. And I think one of the best things is to be like very positive in your direction, but you do have to like, and it takes practice. Like I had no idea what I was doing when I started. I was like, I don't know how to tell people to pose or anything. Like, so it takes practice. But yeah, that's a huge roadblock for a lot of people. Like a lot of people I talk to, they like, yeah, I'm thinking about getting into portraits, but like it's just really hard, and like I can't find people, and it's a lot of like self-pressure, mental barriers, I think, that a lot of photographers put on themselves. But it takes practice, but I enjoy it. It's my favorite style at this point, because I like just being able to create something with another person and give them a photograph of themselves that they like, and stuff like that. Like I find that very rewarding.
Yeah, and it's sad, like there's so many cameras out there, but a lot of people don't have good pictures of themselves. It's kind of like a weird thing.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Like getting a professional picture taken is like maybe you get it at your wedding, or maybe you get it for like high school yearbook, but like most people don't have like in between like professional pictures taken of themselves. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Just at a random thing, like, you know, one of my buddies, Kevin Gilper, I did a video with him back in January of him just stopping people on the street and taking portraits of them. And he does that like all day. Like he'll go out and shoot like portraits of like 100 people. Like he just stops people in the street, like, hey, I like your hat. Can I take your picture and stuff? And one of the things he said in the video, he's like, one of the reasons I do this, I think everybody deserves to have a really great picture of themselves.
Yeah.
And like that resonated so much with me. And that's one of the reasons I really enjoy shooting portraits. But yeah, it's not for everybody. I mean, like when I started getting into photography, like I was trying to do like candid street stuff, and like I wasn't taking anything that I even thought was any good. I was like, even I think these aren't great. Like,
yeah.
And like I never broke that barrier that like a lot of people go through shooting street photography, of like being comfortable, like just walking up, like being like shooting with 35mm lens and being really close, and like taking pictures like not really in people's faces, but like not being, I guess, being a little bit more bold, or not caring if people see you. Like I have a buddy who does that. Like he goes around Boston, and he just like, he shoots with an Olympus, like with like the equivalent of like a 50mm lens. And he just like, he'll be 2-3 feet from you and just take a picture. And he's like on the subway and stuff, like taking pictures of people. And like his work is great, but I'm just like, man, like, like it takes a level practice and confidence to get to that.
Could you, I used to live in Boston. If someone took out a camera and took a picture on the subway, I would be like, what is going on? Because the subway in Boston, everyone's just like dead, you know, everyone's like to themselves and not like trying to interact with anyone. I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, no, it's totally like, and it's noticeable when people do it. Like I've very rarely seen. It was funny. I actually saw somebody taking pictures of me on the subway as like an obvious street photographer. And it was funny because he was kind of like he was sitting on the train and he was trying to pretend like he was sleeping, like it was like a morning commute or whatever. And I could hear the shutter going off, and I was just like, "Come on, man."
Yeah. I remember I used to do like the sneaky phone thing where you would be like, you'd look away or you'd act like you were texting a picture, but
yeah,
it's hard. Those street guys are serious. Yeah.
Yeah. You ever seen Daniel Arnold's work? He shoots like in New York. He kind of like blew up on Instagram, doing street photography and stuff. But he did a project called Locals, I think, where he took all these like very bizarre photos of people on the New York subway with like his iPhone. Like he has pictures of people like they're not very flattering photos, like pictures of people like eating and they like or like doing stuff on the subway, like just strange stuff he would see on the subway. And he shot it all on his like iPhone.
That's insane.
Very interesting. Yeah, very interesting project. But yeah, Daniel Arnold.
Man, I don't know. Like, those guys have balls. I don't know how to do
it. Yeah, it's one of those other things, I guess.
Yeah.
So let's see. So let's talk a little bit more about film photography and sort of like expanding your horizons in film photography. So is there anything within the realm of film photography, whether it's like shooting a different camera or shooting a different format? What's something that you haven't tried yet that you were like really always wanted to try?
I think in terms of gear or shooting with gear, I don't know. Like, I mainly shoot 50 millimeter on everything, and so like normal lenses. On my rangefinder, I shoot with like a 50 f2, and then on even like medium format, I shoot at like 80 millimeters. So I think the thing I'm interested in right now is like, I don't know, like effects and things like that. I kind of want to try like red filters on black and white. They get like that dark sky, and then I got a shift lens recently, so I'm using shift lenses to like take architecture photography. So that kind of stuff is pretty interesting. But the more I shoot, the more I just want to like. It sounds silly, but like specialize in just like less gear. So I try not to, have like keep on buying lenses because that's where it kind of kills you. You get like, like for a while I was like, I need a 70 to 200 2.8 lens. And if I got it, like even like if I bought it 2 or 3 years ago, I would never use it because it's like not my style. I just, I'm pretty happy with the 50 millimeter. But that, and like I think it's a bigger thing is like the 8x10 movement, the super large format movement. So Intrepid's coming out with the 8x10 and people are getting into it. And I've shot in 4x5 and that's difficult. I really want to see how this 8x10 thing, because it's like, it's crazy. It's like people are buying 8x10 cameras in like 2017. So I want to see where that goes. But what do you, is there anything like that for you in terms of like gear or?
Yeah, large format for sure. I want to get in with 4x5. I want to start there. I would like to shoot 8x10 at some point, but I really want to shoot like portraits with 4x5, like color portraits, 4x5, like shooting with like Portra or Provia or something like that. Like I really want to try that. But I know like it's even for me, like even with 35 and with medium format shooting portraits, like I still miss focus and stuff, like because it's all manual focus and stuff. Like I still miss focus, and you have such a narrow latitude. Like if you miss focus a little bit on large format, like the resolution's so big and the depth of field gets so shallow depending on where you shoot on a particular aperture, that like a little mistake can be like, well, that person's like kind of blurry, like.
Oh man.
So I was talking when I interviewed Hans Rosemond on the podcast. He said one of his things he recommended was shooting large format. He's like, you can still get that like bokeh and that like sort of out of focus background, even if you're shooting at like f11 and stuff like that. So he's like, don't be afraid to stop down the lens. Like you don't have to go wide open to get that effect, just because like the film plane is so large and the resolution's so high that you can still kind of get that look.
Yeah, it's just big. Like the craziest thing is I can't believe like that is popular right now. Like of all the film stuff, like 4x5 and like 8x10, it's like I would have never guessed that a couple years ago. I still can't believe it.
Yeah, it's wild. So do you ever, that just reminded me, do you ever shoot like Polaroids or any like possible project type stuff or Fuji?
Yeah, I did. I was one of those people, and I don't want to diss it, but I tried to shoot Impossible, and it was so hard, and it was so difficult. And I eventually went to like Instax, and I was shooting that for a little bit, but I don't know. I thought it was fun, but it wasn't like something I like totally grabbed onto. So I like went back to 35, but I think it's pretty cool. I think it's like there's some people that do really well with like Impossible.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also not like it's not a cheap way to shoot either.
Definitely not.
Have you shot with Impossible? It's like pretty crazy.
Yeah, I've used it on a couple. I have an SX70.
Whoa.
One of my favorite. Yeah, love shooting with that camera. But yeah, the film is it's kind of pricey, so I haven't used it in a while. I think I've got like 3 or 4 photos left in the camera right now that I could use. I have actually the i1 camera, and like Impossible's new camera they released last year. That's an interesting one too. I prefer the SX70, I think, but I wanted to get that camera just so I could make some YouTube videos about it because there weren't any. Yeah,
that's a part of the game. Getting stuff no one has.
Yeah, someone's got to blaze the trail, I guess. But yeah, I like Impossible. I like shooting Polaroids. It's a different experience. But yeah, the results I've gotten are definitely inconsistent, especially like pack to pack. Like I've gotten some where I'm able to nail the shots, and like especially with the SX70, like those will look super sharp, super crisp, like fantastic. And then I'll shoot another pack and they kind of look like garbage. It's like, damn, like, so I think like Impossible just they haven't gotten to the point where they've really like perfected their film yet. I think they're continuing to make improvements and trying to like do different things with it, but it's definitely not a cheap way to shoot, and you're not necessarily going to get consistent results. But there's something about having a tangible print that comes right out that's like a one-of-a-kind thing. I mean, you can scan it and do other things, but like there's something very unique about shooting Polaroid and having that like print that develops before your eyes, and it's just like a one-of-a-kind object.
Yeah, it's like magic.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Have you heard of Fuji's new like square camera? Their new like Instax camera?
Yeah, the it's like hybrid digital analog kind of one.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about it. Like it kind of kills, for me at least. So one of the reasons I like shooting instant film is that level of unpredictability, that level of like you got one shot and out. But this, like, you can take a couple of photos and then be like, I like this one, and then pick that one to print out. Which, like, it's on one hand, it's cool because it's like it's harnessing digital technology to sort of make it a different shooting experience. But I don't know, it's almost like a different thing. It's like you're using something that's like almost a hybrid like digital printer.
Yeah, I'm with that. Like it's like if you shoot film all the time, like the coolest part is you get a roll back and like half of them are not good or half of them are, and then the really good ones you really like. But I don't know if you could pick which ones you want and print. I don't know. But I think it's doing well, right? I think it's doing pretty well. So hats off to Fuji.
Yeah. They're killing it with the Instax stuff. I mean, they figured out the market that works for them. So hats off to them, I guess.
I bet you like that one video, I've done a video on that. That may be the one video where it's more girls watching it than guys watching it.
Instax, yeah.
Maybe 50-50. Maybe 50-50.
Yeah. Yeah, my Polaroid videos, they do skew, like they're closer to 50-50 than I think the video I did on the Mamiya C330, I clicked on the demographics, it's like 95% male on that video.
No, hey, you did a great job on that one, because I was watching it and I was like, man, you really nailed it, because it's hard to do instruction and make it like interesting. And you like
Yeah.
you had all those like cuts and you did. I was like, I thought that was a great job.
Yeah. No, I like doing ones like that too. And I try to like keep them as concise as possible, because like if you want to go into every feature of a camera, like I could have showed how to change lenses and do all this other stuff, but then the video would have been 25 minutes. So it's like, I just want to talk about why this camera is unique, show you the basics of how to get up and running and shoot, and like try to get that done in like 6 to 8 minutes. So all right, so we're at about an hour, so I just wanted to ask a couple more questions and then we can wrap up. What kind of content do you see yourself making on your YouTube channel moving forward? Do you have some ideas of what you want to do in the channel over the next like year or two?
You know what? Probably not as much as I don't think about it too much. I go like week to week, which is like a bad idea. But kind of more just like, I was gonna go more into like, I was doing an assignment thing and it didn't pan that well in terms of like views, and then but I've been moving away more from like just the regular camera review or the regular camera feature, because I don't know if you agree with this, but if you do that too much, you can get burnt out on it because it's like really repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe more like instructional stuff. Those do well and they're fun to do. And then maybe like top lists. I think like I had a video recently on top 5 rangefinders and it did like insanely well. I was surprised. I was like, insane, like it did well, but it was there's that stuff but I don't, you know what, that's like the weirdest thing. I don't think about it too much, and I don't have like this long-term arch, but I'd like to do like the stuff like you did where you have like a crew and you follow someone around shooting, and like being like, I wouldn't mind, I don't mind being behind the camera too, so that'd be pretty cool. But maybe more of that, and then maybe getting other people in the video as well. So if that's an idea, like, what about you? Do you have like a 2-year, 3-year plan with your channel? Or
Yeah. I'm trying to grow it. I'm trying to like kind of hone the focus in a little bit more, but I have like I'm trying to figure out how to do this, but I want to do more stuff about portrait photography.
yeah,
Like I've mostly been doing stuff about film photography and I love that kind of stuff, but I want to integrate other types of content. So I've been kind of experimenting with different things and different like the collaborations and stuff like that. Yeah, a lot of trial and error and testing and stuff. And I have like a long list of video ideas, and I try to do like research on like what people are searching for and like where there may be some gaps where I can make a video that people haven't made that might help a lot of people. But yeah, it kind of goes week to week. Like I have like probably my next couple of weeks planned out for the videos I want to do, but then I try to revisit it every once in a while, because there was a point where I'm like, okay, I'm going to do like 2-3 videos a week, but a lot of the videos didn't do well. So, and a lot of the ones that actually like kind of propel the channel and give me new subscribers and a new audience, it's like I have like probably 5 to 10 videos that performed really well and like are still getting found in search, and people are still commenting and finding me through those videos. So I'm trying to be like, how can I be more strategic to pick content that's like people will still be watching like a year or 2 from now.
Yeah, that's true. So that's like one thing on my channel. Like I have a bulk of, when I did all those early videos and people found them, like it was just pretty simple. It was a pretty straightforward thing. But then like I think my channel evolved over time. But back then I was just doing camera reviews, and you're right. Like you kind of have this backlog of videos you do, and people find you that way. And then it's an interesting way to work. Like I don't know who else does that, but I know David Hancock has that, and I think Art of Photography has that, because he was on the scene. He was doing like this photographer or this something, and then when you look at it, he's still like on the top of those charts and things.
Yeah, exactly. And I found too, like it's hard because like if you try to make a video like that someone else has already done very well. Yeah. It's like, we just click on the first video on the list, It's like, so I remember like I Matt Day, one of his most watched videos is he did a camera review on the Nikon FM2. And I had that camera, so I'm like, oh sweet, I'm gonna do like an FM2 video.
Yeah.
And I think his has like 90,000 views, and mine has like 2,000 or something like that. So it's like it's not even close. So yeah, but then I did a video that was like the Nikon FM2 versus the Nikon F3, and then that video has like 14,000 views. So it's like trying to find videos that are kind of targeted niche that maybe people are searching for. Because that was a question I had when I was looking for those cameras. I was like, I'm looking at the FM2, I'm looking at the F3. They're kind of similarly priced. I mean, I know they're different time, different feature set, but like I want to shoot with, they're kind of at a similar price point. So that was a question I had. So like, oh, I'll do a video on that. I've shot with both these cameras. And a lot of people actually like did, it's funny too, because it was like, it's kind of like the, what do you like to shoot better? Like black and white or color? What do you like better? Like Leicas or like what? People tore into me for saying I like the F3 better than the FM2.
I think the F3 is a better camera in every way, but I don't know, the FM2.
Yeah.
20 years, they're like 10 years apart, right? They're pretty far apart, right?
Yeah. But someone was like, the FM2 is the greatest camera of all time. I was like, that's an opinion. And he kept saying, like, he was in the comment, he's like, do your research. I was like, that is a complete 100% opinion. What research is there to do?
Yeah, go hang out with me for a weekend and I'll tell you why it's better. Like
yeah. I thought that was really funny.
That's insane that people think that, like, that is like a fact. Like some camera's better than another camera.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's just funny. And in the whole video, too, I was like, this is my personal preference. Like, you might like the other camera's great, too. You might like to shoot with that. And people were like, you're an idiot. It's just so funny to like how people react sometimes.
Yeah, I just still don't know why people do that. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah. People, man. People.
Man.
All right, so I guess we're sort of in comment territory. Like, so we talked a lot about the negative comments. Are there any sort of like comments that you've gotten either recently or like really like positive comments that stuck out for you that were really like kind of motivated you to want to keep doing videos?
Yeah, I think when I was about to quit or I was taking that break and people were like, don't quit. And I really like your channel. And I really like following you. It seems silly, but it's like, it does make a big difference because I don't know if you feel it, but a lot of times when you're making videos, you're like in a vacuum. You're like, I'm like on an island doing something and people may or may not like it. So
yeah.
When people like it and people are like, yeah, you know, you shouldn't quit it or you should just take a break. And I was like, man, like people really care about that. Because even to some degree I care about it, but then, you know, it's a thing I do. It's not like, you know, it doesn't, yeah, it's weird to describe. It's like almost like a hobby or something like that. Like if I gave up yoga, no one would care. Like no one would be like, I can't believe Dan gave up yoga. But if you know, if you gave, you know, if I gave up this or you gave up that, you know, if you gave your channel, people be like, man, I really miss that guy. You know, I really like miss having him. So that becomes pretty interesting and part of it. And it's not like the main reason I do it. You still have to do it for yourself and you still have to like to do it. But that stuff does make it way easier to do all of it because, you know, I think we all make a little bit of money off this, but really does not count for like how much work we put into it and time and energy. Like it's pretty thankless, but then when people do thank you, it does make a huge difference. Yeah. Do you feel the same way about it?
Yeah, definitely. Like occasionally I'll get a comment or something like, yeah, I just picked up my first film camera. Like I found your channel through, like I just got a comment on, I think on Instagram the other week, someone said they found my channel through like a Sony a6000 video I did. And now they just got their first film camera and they were super excited to like go shoot a roll. And I was like, that's cool. Like that's cool to me. Like that's one of the reasons I started the channel was because like I had started shooting film and I got really into it and excited and more excited about photography again. And I wanted to share that kind of energy with other people and that experience and get other people into film because I feel like not everybody's going to love shooting film, but for some people it's kind of like transformative. It like makes them fall in love with photography or so. Yeah. And that those kind of things can help carry through when you're like reading, you know, hater comments, or you're like putting a lot of work into, you know, you're putting a lot of work into videos and it's not really getting you the traction you hope for, or something like that. So to get those comments, it's like, it kind of reinforces, okay, brings you back to your focus. Like, this is why I'm doing this. Like, I want to kind of promote film photography and get people excited about photography and that sort of thing. So yeah, I do feel the same way.
You ever get noticed in Boston?
One time, one time, somebody, this is actually like, about a month ago, I was doing a portrait shoot with somebody I met through a local meetup, and we were walking near Northeastern University, and someone like stopped me on the street. They were like, they actually like, they're like, "Are you Dan Bullman Photography?" I was like, "Well, yeah, I'm Dan." Like, but yeah, that was a very interesting experience. And yeah, the guy, it was funny. Like, I'd never had that happen to me. I'd been doing videos for like probably a year and a half, and that moment, like I remember telling my my parents about it, and one of my coworkers, they're like, "Ooh, you're famous."
I've had people call me up or message me like, "You want to hang out?" And I've done it a couple times. I think it's pretty, like, part of you is like, are these people serial killers, or are these people stalkers?
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think everyone's pretty cool. And I think, you know.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's funny actually. The guy who has helped me film a couple videos, he helped me film like a Polaroid video and a disposable camera video. He found me through YouTube initially. Yeah. And then he was like following me on Instagram, and I posted that I was like, I'm looking for someone to help me do videography, and he like reached out to me. So I like met him for coffee, and like we talked, and now he comes to like photo meetups and stuff. So it's like become friends with this guy, and I was just like, he has found or something like. So yeah, it's funny. It's like it's just crazy because like this stuff didn't even like exist when we were growing up, or like 5-10 years ago. Like, I mean, YouTube was around even, but like that kind of, I feel like that kind of stuff didn't really start happening until maybe the last 5, 6, 7 years, where that has become like at first it was like people were contacting you on social media. It's like, man, that's weird. Like, I don't know this guy, but now it's like, it's normal to reach out to like Instagram direct message somebody.
It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. That's funny. That's actually how I organize a lot of my portrait shoots, was just like, you know, I see somebody who I know, like, who's done a shoot with somebody, like they'll post a picture, and I'll just like DM them like, hey, like I shoot portraits, you can see the work on my feed, would love to like meet up and shoot sometime. And like, at first I thought like, man, they're going to think I'm so weird, or like they're not going to want to do it. But like, most people were like, yeah, like if I've got the time, or like they're like, yeah, I'd love to work with you or something. So like a lot of people I've met directly through just connecting with them on Instagram.
It's crazy, right? It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's great. Like it's become normal, I guess. Like that's kind of like, as social media has sort of like really ingrained into our society and culture, like it's just, that's the way people are communicating now.
Yeah, when I was doing the tattoo thing, it was literally, there's a bunch of tattoo shops near my house, and it was like, I didn't, now I would follow them on Instagram, but like when I started, I was like cold calling them. I'll be like, hey, I take pictures. Can I come like take pictures of your shop real quick? And it was like, it sounds weird, right? But then you get over it, and you can do it more and more because you're not worried that, because most people say yes. That's like the weirdest thing. Like when you ask someone like, hey, can I come in here your business and take some pictures? They're like, yeah, that's fine. I'm like, don't say no to me right now. Like, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I was doing a portrait shoot with a friend, and we were like walking around. We walked into like a convenience store or something, and I was like, can I take pictures of my friend like in the aisles here? Like, and they're like, why? And I was like, well, I just post these on Instagram. They're like, oh yeah, that's fine. And we did that to like a couple of different places, and nobody said no.
I know. It's weird. It's pretty insane.
So, whole new world, man. Yeah. All right, so we're getting a little long here, so I just wanted to wrap up. So we've already talked a little bit about the future of your YouTube channel, but So where can people connect with you online if they want to watch your videos or get in touch with you somehow? What's the best way for people to get in touch?
Yeah, so Shawnee Union at YouTube, Shawnee Union at I think Shawnee Union at Twitter, Shawnee Union at Instagram, and then I have Inky INKYATX at Instagram too, and I think that's it. And then I think if you look at my YouTube and stuff, I don't have a Facebook thing, so that's the only one I don't do. But it's pretty easy to get a hold of me. Yeah.
Sounds good. You on Snapchat? You on Snapchat?
Do a little. Are you on it?
I have one. I don't post on it. Like, it's funny. My dad got super into Snapchat actually. He got into it randomly. He goes hard on Snapchat. I haven't used it though, really.
Yeah, I think I don't know. My brother's into it too. I don't get it. I think because people who are into Snapchat aren't. I don't know if they maybe aren't into Instagram, but I don't know. I don't know. My cousins, I have younger cousins. They all like Snapchat. They don't like Instagram. So I think there's like cutoffs for that.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Different strokes, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for joining me tonight. This is always, I love having these conversations with other YouTubers and other like film photographers, just to sort of like dive into what we're doing and, what kind of cameras we like to shoot with and just what motivates us to make videos. So this has been a good time, man.
Thanks, Dan. That was awesome. Thanks for sending off and everything.
Yeah, sounds good. All right. Well, we'll see you soon, folks. This has been another episode of the Dan Bullman Photography Podcast. Peace.
Yeah.